guys, yesterday I got a message from Kate at Operation Right Home and the Tutorials for Stars and Stamps asking me to demonstrate a little bit about using different kinds of chalk. So today I'm going to show you guys some different chalking techniques that you can use on your cards for the troops. What I have first for you today is this box of chalks, and it looks kind of old and grungy. The one thing that I really like about my chalks is that you can use them over and over again. I think this is about 5 years old or even more. They're pretty inexpensive and they work for a really long time. Same goes for these. These are another product that I'm going to be using today, and they're just chalk in a little box thing, and some people call them a cat eye or a chalker or something like that, and I'm going to be demonstrating these today too. To get us started, I'm going to talk a little bit about tools. When you get your chalk, they usually come with a couple of little applicators like this, like you would put your eyeshadow on with. These are okay for using with your chalks, but my hands are really big, and sometimes after I use them for a while, the little tips come off and they get all dirty. Not too good for me. So what I did next is I went to the dollar store. If you invest in a box of Q-tips and maybe just a dollar store little box of different makeup applicators and brushes and stuff, those work really good for putting your chalks on. I also will use frequently just a plain old paintbrush that you can get from an artist store or craft store. Even the dollar store has these sometimes too, and they work really good, especially with a soft tip. They work great for chalks. One of our first projects that I'm going to show you is using your chalk on die cuts, and what I have is this little flag that I cut out from Cricut. It's the Stand and Salute cartridge, and just to demonstrate, I'll show you quickly. What you can do is just pick up a little bit of chalk and shade the areas that you want to have shadow in the background. And the fun thing about chalk is the more you work with it, the more you can blend it in and kind of make it work for you. It's great for doing highlights, and it's also great for doing lowlights. You can see I'm picking up a little bit of white chalk over here, and I can use this on the highlighted area too. This is a lot of fun, and it gets a really nice, just kind of a soft highlighted look. I don't want to color the whole thing because that'll take forever, but what I'll show you is my finished flag with the highlights and the lowlights, and I like to use a little bit of blue on my white. So this is the difference between a finished one and one that's not chalked at all. The next thing that I'll show you is a variety of different kinds of surfaces that you can use chalk on, and that's another big bonus. If you have felt flowers, you can really dress them up a lot by using just a little bit of chalk, and the felt picks up the chalk really easily, and you can use it to highlight your felt. You can also use chalk on silk flowers. Like in the centers here, I put just a little bit of black and a little bit of white on the areas that I wanted to highlight. You can also use your chalks on paper flowers, like this one. You just use your chalks to do the middles, any place you want to highlight, and again, you can use it on the edges, you can use it anywhere, and it gives just a nice kind of soft and a subtle look. I'm also going to show you today using your chalks to color in a complete stamped image. This is one of those really cute digi stamps that we got by Tracy at the Stamping Boutique, and what you have to do is just use your chalks just like anything else that you color with, and you just go ahead and pick up a little bit of pigment and you brush it in and you fill in your image just how you want. It's a very, very soft look, and the more chalk you add, the darker it gets, and it's really fun for using to make highlights and lowlights. Again, it makes a really cool, soft, very soft image. The fun thing also about these little makeup brushes is that you can take a die cut that you have. Here's a little girl, and you can use these just like you were putting makeup on. I'm going to use this blush brush and just give her cheeks a little color. So that's fun. Then you could also go in and use your chalks to put some highlights in her hair. These are before and after. When you use your chalks around the edge of a project, what it does is it gives it just a little bit of dimension and it sets it apart from any background that you put it on. I have a light blue chalk here, and I'm going to demonstrate that by giving the edges just a little bit of color, you can really make your little accent or die cut or punch or whatever you're working with. You can really make it pop up off the page. Here's a fun project for people that like to play around with their photos, especially with scrapbooking or adding a photo to a card. What I've taken is just a regular 4x6 photo that I printed out on my printer, and this picture is by Kirsten, and I just really love it. I'm going to go ahead and pick up some chalk, and on this black and white image that I printed out, you can add just a tiny bit of color photo to give it just a little bit of set apart or dimension. You know how some of those black and white photos are, and they colored just one area of it to give it a little bit of difference, and that's kind of fun to do. You could also make your background, you could turn it into a sunset, or you could turn it into a night sky, or add some pink to a picture of a little baby girl, maybe her hair or some flowers, something like that, and just give your photo a little bit of color to contrast the black and white. The other thing I like to do when I'm finished with something like this is take my chalk in the box like this, and instead of using a Photoshop or a program to fade my edges of the photograph, you can actually take this chalk right on your photo and go around and give that edge just a really faded, kind of distressed look. You could also do this with a white, or if you're working with a sepia tone photo, you could go around the edge with a little bit of brown, and it gives it kind of a cool, artistic looking edge. So we've used a lot of chalks today to go over a lot of different techniques. We use them to make our projects stand out from the page, to give them highlights and lowlights, to give them dimension and color, and to add just a little touch of something special to a project that you're working on. For my last example, what I really want to do is show you guys how you can use your chalks to make things look really soft and fuzzy and cute. For this little stamp, which is actually the stamp of the month for July, what I did to color him was use this pen, which is a blender pen, and you pick up a little bit of pigment from your ink pad and you do little tiny strokes to make him look kind of pokey, like a little hedgehog guy would be. And that's how I colored him. But you also could color him using chalks, and it gives it a whole different look. I'll show you how. This little guy, I wanted him to look really, really soft, like you could just reach out and pet him. And so what I did was use a Q-tip, which is the softest of the applicators for applying your chalk, and after you get him stamped, you just use your chalk to make him look really, really soft. And if you wanted to add some highlights like you did in part of him, use a lighter colored chalk and just go through with a brush and add a little bit of highlights or lowlights, however you want. And then I chalked around the edges. I hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial on using chalk today. If you have any more questions, stop by my blog. That's Scrap Happens. And thanks for stopping by.